doing the best I can with what limited intelligence.
That's a long one.
Well, good evening and welcome to regular November meeting of Oxford Town Council. Before I begin, I'd like to acknowledge in the gallery we have John Carlo Pecan and Marion Abbott joining us tonight. A reminder, the parade, Christmas parade, is this Friday night starting at 6:30 at Lands and Forestry Department. Not rain or shine, but snow or rain, it's on that night. So bundle up, keep an eye on the weather, and we look forward to seeing everybody there. Okay, first off, excuse me, I'd like to call this meeting to order. First off, the agenda, you've all got a copy. Could I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, moved by Councillor Jones, seconded by Councillor McNutt. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Motion carried. Next up, you've all seen copies or should have seen copies of the previous minutes. Any errors or omissions? Hearing none, I declare them approved as read. First thing, number 4, business selection of boards and committees. I'm going to turn the floor over to our trusted CAO.
Great, thank you, thank you. So, a copy of the draft of the boards and committees for 24-25 has been sent out to all of the councils for review, and we've heard back from everyone there, and I've also collected terms of reference for anyone that is looking for terms of reference on the boards. I do have a collection of those as well. But so what I'm looking for is a motion to adopt the presented one that was in the council package. But if you don't mind me maybe approaching what the motion could be like and then kind of mimic from there. And I have a copy here, so you can go from there. But we're looking for a motion that council approve the following committee appointments for 1-year terms ending, and it'll be October 31st of 2025. And so then we will go into each councillor with each of the appointments. So we have Councillor Carla Black, Cumberland Regional Library Board, Committees in Bloom Committee, Downtown Revitalization Beautification Committee, Equity, Diversity, Inclusion Advisory Committee, Personnel Committee, Public Works Committee, and the Welcoming Committee. We then have Councillor Canning Sweet Olivia, Accessibility Advisory Committee, Downtown Revitalization Beautification Committee, Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Advisory Committee, Planning Committee, Recreation Commission, and the Roads Trail Act Review Committee. Then Councillor Colburn Brenton, we have the Police Advisory Board, Police Services Review, Fire Department Committee, Public Works Committee, Road Trails Act Review Committee, Source Water Protection Advisory Committee, Towns Buildings Committee, and then the Regional Emergency Measures Organization Advisory, known as REMO. Then we have Mayor Henley, the Police Services Review, Audit Committee, Personnel Committee, Planning Advisory Committee, Source Water Protection Advisory Committee, Towns Buildings Committee, Cumberland Health Stakeholders, and Physician Recruitment Committee. And Councillor Paul Jones, we have the Police Services Review, Arena Association Committee, Audit Committee, Fire Department Committee, Personnel Committee, Public Works Committee, Road Trails Act Review Committee, Town Buildings Committee. Then we have Councillor Crystal McNutt. We have the Municipal Alcohol Program Board, which is also known as MAP, Audit Committee, Downtown Revitalization Beautification Committee, Recreation Commission, Road Trails Act Review Committee, Cumberland Central Landfill Community Liaison Committee, and the Northern Region Solid Waste Management Committee. Then we have Councillor Patrick Moore, Police Advisory Board, Accessibility Advisory Committee, Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Advisory Committee, Planning Advisory Committee, Recreation Commission, Source Water Protection Advisory Committee, and the Welcoming Committee.
Okay, you've heard it. Would someone like to make that a motion?
I'll move to make that a motion.
I'll second.
Okay, moved by Councillor McNutt, second by Councillor Canning. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Motion carried. Thank you, everybody, for jumping on those committees. Next up, I have, where did I put it? Appointment of investigator for the code of conduct, that is something we all pledged, I guess, when we were sworn in last meeting. So Linda will give us some background on this.
Okay, so one of the requirements is to hire an investigator for the code of conduct. So what we had done, we had reached out to our solicitor. He recommended a local retired RCMP officer. They were unable, then they recommended another one. They were unable. So I reached out to 2 different towns. One did an RFP for various services, as well as another one, a local one here, reached out to a local lawyer that's not the town solicitor, and they are signing a 1-year contract to give them time to think of something better, to give them time to sort that out as well. So not sure which route council would like to see. I'm just kind of looking for consensus. If you would rather an RFP process that opens it up to the public, or just reach out, get the solicitor to get one in place now and have a year or 2 sort out.
Explain what they need to do.
They will investigate any complaints on the code of conduct for elected officials. That's a requirement of the new code of conduct that was adopted. So it's mandated for us to appoint
Now, how much time do we have before we have to have one in place?
as soon as possible.
As soon as
We've
possible.
already adopted the model, so we would like this as soon as possible.
So does the county and the town of Amherst have this?
Amherst had done the latter that I was just telling you about. And they're looking at a 1-year contract for now, and then looking into it a little deeper dive for next year. They're going to try it out. And I spoke with, is it Pictou area? And they did the RFP, and I have a copy of that.
I'm just wondering, the person who's doing the town of Amherst, can they do ours as?
They may, I can reach out to the list. I just want to see your guys' opinions. on-
That's what I'd be thinking.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so.
Depending on the rates. Now, we have no idea what people are going to charge to
Right.
do this.
This is new.
Yeah,
And
this is-
unbudgeted.
And that's literally the only thing they would do for us.
Yes,
So if
they can't
someone,
have a conflict of interest. No one has any interest in the town, or
Right.
counselors
Right.
here.
so if one of the elected officials does something that it goes against the code of conduct, someone puts in a complaint, town staff is not involved,
Right.
town council is not involved, this person gets involved and they do the whole investigation. And I guess they can be the punish this, who does the repercussions?
I believe it goes through the Minister of Justice and all that stuff, so it's a provincial matter, but they do the investigation.
Right.
Yeah.
I'd be in favor of the idea.
Yes, it would be a paid position. I believe, some are doing retainers, but there's various options, so it's very new, so, we're not sure what to get back.
No, that's what I think too.
Yeah.
Yeah. There may be a setup fee, and also like to be on call kind of thing, so there may be a bit of a fee that way.
Like a
Yeah,
retainer.
That maybe
Yeah.
another fee on top. There is a certain amount of complaints. or
Exactly.
Certain investigations they have to go into,
Yes.
maybe they have, but that'd be something we have to look into.
As long as we behave, we won't have to worry about it.
Right. I would be interested in seeing who was doing Amherst and see if they would be interested in, maybe they can give us a 2 for.
I'll just make sure
Two
they're not
for the-
related to anyone here.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
that's
Right,
what they say,
right.
So
So Linda, did you say it can't be one of our local officers? It's gotta be somebody from outside?
it does not have to be someone from outside. It could be anyone that regulates the law. It's a regulator of some sort that's used to working with the law system.
So, but it should be somebody that doesn't have really any affiliation with anybody on council. No.
I was speaking with 2 retired RCMP officers, hoping it might go that way, but do both lines. Back to square one on this, so I had 2 avenues that others are doing, so just wanted to kind of get consensus. If you guys are good with looking at a solicitor for right now, then we can examine how that's working and go from there.
What the
Like a-
county do, did you check?
I
with the
didn't
county?
check with the county. I didn't get an answer to that yet.
Anybody else have any questions for Linda? So you
Yeah, I
got
got
enough to go
consensus.
with?
Yeah, we're
Okay,
good.
great. Next up, we'll move along to amend tax and water collection policy.
Okay. So this here, we did some of this at the committee of the whole, but I'll give you a little bit of a background. So our tax and water collection policy, it does well. It's a tool for the town staff to utilize. And we have recently received an auditor's letter for management. And the auditors recommended that the management implement procedures to track and follow up on long outstanding receivables longer than 1 year at a minimum. So as a result, the staff reviewed and pending also with council's approval, which they recommended from the committee of the whole to adopt. Recommendations were amended to the policy by including a Schedule A and a Schedule B. Schedule A included procedures for tax collection, and Schedule B reflects the water collection. So there's steps on it, how staff can track those, and it just makes it more accountable and clear, and everyone's doing the same thing. So it's no question, it kind of gives us a tool to use. I know there was discussion about the URAB, it has its own board rules and regulations. We use that as a guideline as well, so we can't supersede that. They supersede us, but it lines up with that as well. So at our last committee of the whole, it was moved by Mayor Henley and seconded by Councillor Jones to recommend the council to adopt the amended tax and water collection policy as it was presented. So
You're looking for a motion now?
Motion
Would
to
someone like to
adopt it.
make a motion to this effect? Okay,
Second.
it's moved by Councillor Colburn, second by Councillor Jones. Any more discussion or questions before we vote? All those in favor of the motion, please raise a hand and say aye. Aye. Motion carried. Next up, sale of surplus equipment, 1989 Ford Cargo low tilt fire truck.
Fire truck that we gotta sell. So we need to make room. We have a new fire truck, so now we have one that needs to be sold. So I reached out to peers on how they manage, and so what they do is they put theirs out on a govdeals.com and hopefully gets acceptable bids. Then from that, it satisfied their need to reach it out to the open public, which is what you want to do. You need a public process to be open for everyone to have an opportunity. That didn't work for them. So what they did after that, the bids didn't come in as acceptable in their mind. So they, in the end, ended up contacting individual fire departments and letting them know about what they had. And from there, and then they ended up, luckily in a call, one of them called back and said they were interested in the fire truck and ended up selling it that way. So I need council's approval to let staff sell the 1989 Ford Cargo low tilt fire truck. At this point, I would like to say start the process, and then I will update as we get bids, and we will maybe accept the bid as a council. As far as a value, I was looking at going with the avenue of meeting with the fire department committee and looking to set a value on the fire truck and go with there. We would have the fire department involved with this as well. So just we're not experts in fire trucks.
Okay,
No, yeah, I was just gonna ask that, what, like, do you know what blue book value of that truck?
I think the fire department does. So
Okay.
we would look at their opinions on that and go with that, the recommendations. But the committee would meet as well. There'd be councillors involved. I believe Councillor
Yeah.
Colburn and Jones and
Monday evening at 5:30.
yes.
now do you need a motion for that, or we?
A
just
motion
need
to
direct-
start the process just to sell the
I motion to start the process to sell the.
I'll second.
Okay, moved by Councillor Moore, seconded by Councillor Black. Any questions or discussion regarding the sale of the possible starting the sale of the truck?
Just one question,
No,
just to clarify.
Yeah.
They've already put it out to tender and you didn't get a reasonable price.
no, we did not. We did not go.
Did they?
no, it was another.
That was another, I'm
municipality.
mimicking how another town sells their fire truck.
Oh, so
That's what
never
they
did.
did.
So they never did that.
We did not do that.
Not-
This is our fire truck to sell.
She's not allowed to sell it until
I
we
can't
give her
sell it until
permission.
you give me permission to sell
We've
it.
got to pass a motion to give her permission to sell it.
It is
No,
an
That's why
asset.
I asked the
Yep,
question,
yep,
because
yep.
I misunderstood. I thought she meant that they already.
No.
Okay.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor. Any other questions or comments?
Should the motion have that we're waiting for value from the fire committee?
No, we're just giving her permission to start.
Okay.
That's all we're giving her, permission to start the process to sell it. Okay, any other questions? All those in favor of the motion, please raise a hand, say aye. Aye. Motion carried. Next up, correspondence is nil. Next up, and I'm afraid I'll have to ask our guests to leave because we're going in camera. Sorry, I didn't mean to startle you. And the time is 6:14. Thank you for showing
Oh,
up.
we'll need a motion.
Yeah. Watch the papers, you can only click. Yeah. You can keep this.
It would look good part by your rule.
You can be a proud owner.
Thank you. I need a motion, Quinn camera, please.
So moved.
I'll second
Seconder?
that.
Okay, moved by Councillor Black, seconded by Councillor McNutt. To win camera, all those in favor, please say aye. Motion carried. And we